everyone, and welcome back to the sixth podcast on the Walk by Faith show. Guys, I am so excited again about this episode, and it's called You Can't Have Wealth with No Health, featuring our guest, Ms. Khadijah Simmons, who is the CEO and founder of Guns, Glutes, and Glitter, where she is a fitness coach. She's almost done getting her bachelor's degree, which I'll let her go more in depth on, and she has turned some of her pain into triumph. And she wants to motivate each of you all to get in the gym, not only with your body, but with your mind. So, Khadijah, on that note, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're studying in school?
I can. So, as Jasmine stated, I am the CEO and founder of Guns, Glutes, and Glitter. So, as the podcast goes along, we will discuss more about where the brand came from. So a little bit of background about myself. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I was born and raised there. After my high school graduation, I joined the armed forces. I joined the Army. And then once basic training was over, I started my college career at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I started out as an engineering major, but it wasn't my thing, and so I ended up majoring in social work and psychology. And it's currently where I am now. So I will actually be graduating this May after what seems like forever, and I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. It's been a very long 5 years. Within those 5 years, I did a 1-year deployment. So I'm ready for undergrad to be over.
Okay. So I want you to tell us, one, guys, let's just give a shout out to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Everybody sleep on my city, but it's so many great people, motivated people, driven people that come out of that city. And you know what? Just one time for Pine Bluff. Okay? Pine Bluff in the house. We here. Can you tell us about the first time that you knew mental health was important?
Okay, so I didn't really know much about mental health before I came to the university, and what I did know about mental health, it kind of had a negative connotation with it, and I didn't want to identify with the words depressed and anxious, so I kind of suppressed those feelings or suppressed what I knew about them just because I didn't want those labels to be put on me, just knowing the stigma that went along with someone who is depressed or someone who suffers from anxiety. And so my freshman year, I actually stopped going to class. I was not showering. I was not eating or anything. I don't think my roommates really knew what was going on because, I mean, we used to party and all that kind of stuff. So they probably just thought, you know, I'm tired from partying or being out all night, but that's not even a little bit of what it was. And one of my professors actually came, I don't know how she found out what dorm I stayed in, but she actually came to my dorm to check on me. And she basically told me, like, look, like, this is not okay. You've been in bed for however long I had been in bed for. And she basically made me get out of bed and shower and put on some clothes. And she walked me over to our CAP center. And basically it's a center for psychological services. And in the center we have psychologists and therapists. And I made an appointment that day with a therapist, and we sat in the lobby until that therapist was available. And once the therapist was available, I went to the back and answered a series of questions. And when I came out from talking to the therapist, my professor was still sitting there waiting for me. And at that moment, I knew, like, whatever it is that she majored in or whatever she does when she's not a professor, I want to be that, because I never met somebody who was so willing and so selfless before in my life. And so that's actually what led me to change my major from engineering, which I was before, to now social work and psychology.
I love that, Khadijah. And nobody, after listening to this podcast, should ever be, ashamed of mental health, of, going through depression, because those are psychological illnesses, and everybody goes through ups and downs. But I'm so glad that you did not let that affect you long term, and that you definitely turned it into something great. And my next question is, how does physical fitness directly correlate to your mental fitness?
I didn't really know the answer to a question like this before, probably up until a year ago. So even today, as recently as last weekend, I still suffer from depression and anxiety just like I did when I finally accepted suffering from something like that. And so I had been seeing a therapist for a while, and I ended up getting recommended to a psychiatrist. Okay, so that was really, really scary for me because I'm like, okay, maybe I do have more of a problem than what I would like to admit. And once I met with the psychiatrist, I received a prescription of Prozac. Prozac is an antidepressant. And once I got that prescription, I was like, you know what? Like, no, I'm not taking medicine. I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. And that's where fitness came in. So I was always really slim, I guess. I wouldn't say fit because I was very lazy, but I was always slim. I could eat what I want. I could do what I want. And I always maintained my figure. And so once I got that prescription, I figured I had to do something aside from taking that medicine. And I started going to the gym more. Like anytime I would start to feel down or start overthinking something or something made me very nervous or very anxious, I would just get up and go to the gym. And some days I would stay in the gym for 3 hours or more just so I wouldn't have to deal with whatever was bothering me at the moment. And basically, I knew that in the gym I could hurt me and no one else could. And so although that's very unhealthy and I do not recommend that to anyone, that's kind of how I started enjoying going to the gym and physical fitness. So basically, me going to the gym and just spending that time with myself and knowing that I'm in control of what I feel and I'm in control of what I think, that kind of drove me more into fitness, and that helped me understand that mental fitness and physical fitness both go together. If you're not right in the mind, or if you're dealing with too much, or if you're stressed, you're not going to have the energy to do much else besides lay in the bed or think about whatever it is that's bothering you. And so I definitely think mental fitness and physical fitness go hand in hand, and I teach that to my clients every chance that I get.
Thank you, Khadijah. Speaking of clients, I think your clients have something to do with your brand and also your business, which is Guns, Glutes, and Glitter. Girl, tell us how you birthed that and all of the things that go with your brand and your vision and your business.
Sure. Okay, so during my deployment, I went to Kuwait and Iraq with the U.S. Army, and during my deployment, I was losing a lot of weight. So there was this rumor that the Kuwaiti nationals peed in the food that they served us, and I stopped eating. I actually went online to Walmart.com and ordered some food. Right. I couldn't take chances. I didn't know how true it was, but just the thought of it kind of grossed me out. So I went online to Walmart and Amazon and I ordered groceries. And I did not eat until the food came. So I would snack on like crackers or like stuff that was packaged that I could buy. And that's all I ate. And so from there, I started searching different protein shakes. Now, before this, I never drank a protein shake in my life because I think they're disgusting. And I started searching protein shakes. And I came across Team Beachbody. And there was this girl on Facebook who was always promoting Team Beachbody of how she lost so much weight after giving birth to her children, and she ended up competing in a bikini competition. And so I'm like, okay, she looks like she's with it. She's posting something about fitness every day. She's posting something about this particular protein brand, and it's called Shakeology. And I'm like, okay, let me try it. So I ended up ordering the Shakeology and trying it myself, and it wasn't too bad. I would blend it up with like real strawberries or bananas or something like that to kind of taste it, to kind of make it taste less of a protein shake. And after that, she asked me if I would compete in that year's bikini competition. I denied it for a very, very long time because standing in front of somebody pretty much half naked was not something that I ever wanted to do, not publicly anyway. And so I ended up agreeing to it, and I did the bikini competition. Leading up to it, I had the idea of starting a bikini competition, or not starting a bikini competition, starting a fitness brand, but I wanted it to be fitness clothing. Because when I go to the gym, I want to be comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing, and if doing some type of high intense cardio, I don't want my clothes to be sticking to me because they're not the right material and stuff like that. So I actually started reaching out to different brands to see if I can start my own fitness wear line. Well, it didn't really turn out into that after the bikini competition, a lot of different people started contacting me, just asking what did I do and if I had a coach and things like that, which I did have a coach. And so I posted my before and after pictures in a military group that I'm in. And I didn't really know much of what I was doing at the time, so I just told them, like, look, if you'll start this service with me, completely free of charge, I will supply a meal plan for you and a training program for 10 weeks. And I started a group meet where I added all the ladies. That way I could just send out one message instead of having to send out multiple. And I believe the first time that I asked people to join the group meet, around 50 people joined it. And after they kind of saw, like, the demand as far as, like, eating a certain amount of times a day and going to the gym and doing this type of workout regimen, a lot of people dropped out. And so there were about 23 or 24 ladies left who finished it to the end. And I was like, man, I could really do something with this. So I started reading more books about nutrition and stuff like that. And I started researching different things online. And that's kind of where the business came from. And as it grew, I mean, it's still small, but as it grew, I started learning more things. And I came across this video on Facebook of a guy who's in the Air Force, and he gave a speech about making your bed. And at first I was like, okay, this is not going to be interesting. I don't want to hear anything about somebody telling me how to make my bed because that's something I already know how to do. But basically, the premise behind the message is if you can wake up early enough in the morning and make your bed before you leave, there's no way that you can say, okay, I'm going to make this humongous lifestyle change. It's just not going to work if you can't do something as simple as making your bed. And basically, he also said that if your day is chaotic or if you're stressed out during the day, you don't want to come home and your house is all over the place. And so that's kind of where he was getting at with the whole make your bed deal. And now I teach that to my clients because it's just a different form of discipline. So sometimes if someone messages me and they say, hey, these are my goals and I want to lose 50 pounds in, 1 month. I'm just like, whoa, like, first of all, what kind of discipline do you have? And second of all, do you even think that that's possible? And when they say stuff like that to me, I ask them, where did you get that from, or why do you want to lose 50 pounds? And one of the first things they'll say is, well, I saw on Instagram that this girl was drinking this certain type of detox tea, or I saw this girl wearing this type of waist trainer. And so when they tell me stuff like that, before I even accept them as my client, I have them for 2 weeks every morning send me a picture with a timestamp that you've made your bed. And if they can't commit to that, then basically I just tell them, like, look, thank you for reaching out to me, but I don't think that I'm the person that can help you, because every day I'm talking to my clients. Every week I'm asking them for, an update. How did you feel? How was your energy? Things like that. And so what went from me not eating because I felt like, or because I was believing the rumor that the Nationals had actually peed in one of our meals, kind of led to the birth of the business.
Wow. I love it. And that was a crazy rumor. But I think everything happens for a reason. Without the rumor, maybe you wouldn't have ordered things online, and maybe you wouldn't have met that lady who asked you to be in the fitness competition. By any chance, like, did you place? What was your experience in your first bikini competition?
So I was insanely terrified. So the outfits that we have to wear are more revealing than what I would like. And that in itself made me nervous because I feel like everybody is looking at me. Everybody is paying attention to me. So I kind of shied away from that. And so the whole time I had on this robe to kind of cover me up until it was time for judging. And the whole time I'm was like, no, like, take that robe off. Everybody else takes their robe off. And I'm just like, no, I can't do it. And so while people were standing around, I kind of asked them, like, hey, will you do some push-ups and stuff with me? And in order for me to do that, I had to come out of the robe. And so I just felt like if I take my robe off, that he do push-ups with me, then everybody won't just be paying attention to me. And so that kind of made me feel a little bit more open about it. And then if people walk by, they're like, oh, my God, you look so great or whatever. And that kind of made me, open up a little bit more. And once we went back for prejudging, I was really, really terrified because you go through prejudging by yourself. And we had to walk up kind of like a mini stage. You have to walk up the stage and do your posing routine, then walk down the stage. And the stage was carpeted. And so I'm already clumsy, and I just knew that at some point I was going to trip and it was going to all be over. And so I walk up the stage and I do my poses routine, and as I'm turning around to finish, it's exactly what I do. I trip. And I just kind of laughed it off, and the judges laughed, and that was it, and I walked off stage. And I completely surprised myself when I got called it's called call-outs, basically. So basically the judges will call out certain people that they want to see again to send them on to finals. And that's exactly what happened. So my very first competition, I made it to the first call-outs, and I walked the stage at the end, and that was huge to me. So this year, I'm going to do another one in June. And this year, I definitely prepared to be in the top 10 because I came so close last year. And I'm not going to say I didn't try hard enough, but I definitely believe that I didn't give it my all because I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't really know what my body was capable of. But now that I know and I've paid attention to my body and how it changes and what it changes because of, I definitely plan to place top 10 this year. So.
Okay, Khadijah, and congratulations. Your first bikini competition, you got called out into the final round. So that's good. And I can't wait to see you on Instagram when you are in the top 10 or the top 1, okay, or the winner. I'm speaking that into existence now. So,
thank you.
Khadijah, you're welcome. We went to high school together, guys. I think we was in Jack Roby. We did everything but K through 3rd grade or 5th grade. I think we've been in the same school since we can remember. And Khadijah has always had a ambitious mindset, always been with us, with top of the class. We was in the AP classes together. But from the time, it's been 5 years since we've been out of school or since we've been out of high school. And I've watched this girl she's selling hair, she's selling clothes. How did you get started with entrepreneurship? Because this is not your first venture. And what are some of the pros and cons to starting your own business?
Okay, so this is definitely not my first entrepreneurial venture. I don't really know what kind of came alive within me to want to become an entrepreneur. And I don't even really think that at the time I had my mind made up that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was kind of, well, this is what's hot right now, and I know that if I get into it, I'll give it my all, and this will pay my bills. So that's kind of what it started out as. And the first thing that I ever sold was hair. So about 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe even more than that, but for sure about 4 or 5 years ago, everybody was into wearing Brazilian hair. So I did my research on it, and I found a reliable vendor. And before I started advertising it to others, I ordered enough in bulk for myself, and I kind of did everything that I could do to it to see what it could withstand. And so I bleached it as far as it could go, and I didn't wash it for a long time, and I let it get really, really oily just to see what would happen if my clients did that. So that way, if they said, hey, I've had the hair for X amount of time and it's doing this, can you tell me why? Can you tell me what to do? I would know the answer to give to them from experience from dealing with it. So my first thing was selling hair. And then after that, I'm like, oh, I can have an entire boutique, like a one-stop shop. So I found a vendor for clothing, and it was more like club clothing. So it was like bodycon dresses and midi dresses, and they had low backs, and they were lace and stuff like that. So I basically opened an online boutique, and on one tab, it was nothing but weaves, and on another tab, it was nothing but clothes. And so I'm like, okay, I almost have the girl completely dressed. I have her weave, I have her clothes. What is it that she's missing? And I'm like, lipstick. So I researched lipsticks for the longest. I know probably 8 or 9 months. I researched lipstick. Every time I thought about it, how do I make my own lipstick? What are the best ingredients for lipstick? How do I make my lipstick, look pretty in the tube? Things like that. And so once I found everything that I would need, I basically started drafting ingredient lists. And I would make them myself just to see what the consistency would be like. Was it too oily? Was it too matte? How long would it last? Would it stain my lips? things like that. And from that, I started a lipstick company, and it was called Prima Donna. And I made the lipstick in my kitchen. I ordered everything that I needed in bulk. I ordered wax, different type of oils to make sure that our lips would be moisturized when we wore lipstick. I mastered how to make my lipstick matte because I love matte lipsticks. So I figured out how to do that. I figured out how to make a semi-matte lipstick, and I found a lipstick mold. And so basically I would mix all the ingredients together, and I would pour them into this lipstick mold. I would stick the lipstick mold into the freezer for X amount of time, and then take the mold out of the freezer, and boom, the lipstick was done. And I found these really cute lipstick cases, and once I found a case that I liked, it was super easy at that point. I would just pull the top out of the mold, stick the lipstick case on the back of the lipstick, and that was it. It was super easy, and the lipstick sold really fast. Like, I was literally selling these lipsticks out of my trunk. I started taking them to work, and I would have samples where people could try them, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, you made this where? And it kind of blew up from that point. But then college started getting really, really hectic, and I didn't really have the time that I felt like I should have had to devote to making sure that the consistency was right and making sure that I put the lipstick into the case perfectly. So I was like, okay, this is becoming too demanding because I would have so many orders of lipstick that I couldn't keep up with it. And so I stopped doing the lipstick, and I kind of let the whole entrepreneurial thing die down in me. And last year, it started up again. It's been going strong ever since.
And I think it's so funny, like, when your purpose is so much bigger than maybe a 9-to-5, or your purpose is so much bigger than, what you can see. It's like this gnawing voice, or this gnawing feeling, like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing, whether it was selling hair or selling clothes or lipstick. Like, that all led you to fitness. And I feel like that's something, Khadijah, I can see you doing for 5 to 10 years, just teaching people about how to make themselves feel the most beautiful. And I want to ask you, what do you want other women to know about the power they have to change their perspective of beauty? Because that's one thing that women do, like, we compare ourselves. We say, well, she's pretty, or, maybe I'm darker tone, she's lighter tone, her hair, my body, her body. It's so much comparison. Social media has, hyped that up as well. Like, what do you tell other women so that they know that the power is inside of themselves?
I think that's huge, first of all, and I sometimes even find myself doing it. And so I try to let women know, like, you're beautiful no matter what. And that's kind of hard. Like, I'll tell somebody that, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, whatever. You're just saying that because you have to. Or you're just saying that because you want me to feel better. And I genuinely say that because I think it's true. But it's also very hard to believe because of the time when we're growing up, where video vixens and Instagram models, they have the perfect skin and they have the perfect shape, and their baby hairs are swooped this way, and their hairstyle and their face is beat or whatever. And now I don't want to say regular women, but I can't think of another term to use, but now regular women feel like being regular is not enough. And so I try my hardest to let them know that, like, you're beautiful because of who you are. Even though, like, comparing ourselves to people who are on social media can be really easy. And aside from that, society doesn't make it much better. Like, if, let's say we dress up for work Monday through Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday, we just want to wear sweatpants and a T-shirt. If someone sees us in just sweatpants and a T-shirt, it's like, man, are you feeling okay today? Like, are you having a bad day today just because we want to be relaxed? It's kind of like we decrease the standard that we have for ourselves, and I don't think that it's anything like that. Like, I totally feel like it's okay with just being, quote unquote, regular. Another way that I always put this, there's a donut shop that's really close to where I live, and inside this donut shop, all the donuts are like dressed in a different way. So some of the donuts have like Fruit Loops on top, and some of them are covered in chocolate or sprinkles or whatever. And one day, my boyfriend and I were in there, we were just looking at all the different donuts, and I had really never seen this many donuts or Disney Donuts dressed this way in my life. And so we're walking down the line of donuts, and then I see this beautiful glazed glazed donut. And I told him, like, look, in the midst of all these, I'm a glazed donut. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with just being a classic woman who doesn't feel like she has to wear makeup all the time, or who doesn't feel like she has to be dressed a certain way and wear a certain amount of clothes, or her face has to be beat every time she walks out of the house. I totally feel like it's okay with being a glazed donut. Like, it's okay to be classic. And I personally think that being classic and being timeless and having something more to offer than the way we look or the way we dress or the assets we have, I feel like that's way, way more important. So.
Yes, Khadijah. And I know your message is not just in the United States. With the platform you have built, you have international clients. Can you tell us how you have used social media and social media is not using you?
Oh, for sure. So I started a new Instagram instead of building off of my own. And I started this Instagram from nothing. And basically every day I would try and interact with someone who was doing something similar to what I wanted to do. And I would just go on their page and I'd like all their photos, or if they would post something or be doing a live video, I would tune in and kind of interact with them just to let them know, like, look, we exist out here. Like, even though we're small, we're paying attention to everything that you're doing. And so I made the goal to gain 10 new followers a week. And that's still my goal, like, even now. And so some weeks I meet that goal and some weeks I don't. Some weeks I'll gain 50 followers or whatever. And so I basically use social media to just get the word out. And so it's never like, oh, I didn't get 100 likes on a workout video that I posted. It must not be good enough. So this might not be something that I should be doing with my life, or this is obviously not something that society wants to see from me. I never look at it that way. It's just, now is the time to build, and eventually the person who is supposed to see it will see it. And it has been like that thus far. Like, I will, or somebody will contact me and say, hey, I heard about your business through such and such who follow you on Instagram. And this person has never even been a client of mine before, but they're spreading the word to other people about the stuff that I post or the things that I do or whatever. And so just because of that, I'm grateful for social media, because even when I'm not working, social media always is. So I definitely enjoy the benefits that social media has or has had for my business thus far.
Okay, and Khadijah, when I see your videos, I just see like this beautiful girl, and like you got this model type, like you tall, and then you slim fit, and then you fit now. I'm just like, it always just amazes me how we have continued to evolve since we graduated from Palm Bluff High School in 2012. And it's all I know is that the sky is the freaking limit. And is there anything else that you want to tell people regarding fitness, regarding their goals, regarding going after it and not being afraid to be healthy? You don't have to have the best body or whatever you think the world standard is, but just to be okay with what you have, but to understand that health is wealth. And with no health, we can never have wealth. We won't even be allowed to spend it.
I completely agree with that. I would just tell people that being resilient is everything. Not worrying, which is something that I always do, is also important. And finally, your purpose is your purpose regardless of what happens. So I don't know if fitness is where I'll be for the next 5 years or for the next 20 years, but I know that fitness is where I am right now. And because of that, I give it everything that I have and more. So as long as people remain resilient, try their hardest not to worry and to walk in their purpose, then I think whatever it is that's out there for them, they're going to receive it regardless.
Okay, and I do have one last question. What does walking by faith mean to you?
Walking by faith means everything to me. I do not believe that I would be where I am with business, in my social life, just whatever. I don't think that I would be here without the faith that I have. For example, there were times when I didn't know like how some bills were going to be paid, and it would be like 2 days before the first, and my bank account was sub-zero. And then right before I would accrue late charges or whatever, just the right amount of money would pop into my bank account so that I can get my bills paid. And I don't have an explanation for that. I never really searched for one. This happened multiple times before. And the only thing that I can say about that is that being faithful is what got me there. Whenever something is going bad in my life, I never stop praying. Even when things are going good in my life, I don't stop praying either. And I think that because of that, I've received a lot of the blessings that I have received. So faith to me is everything. And it's not just like, oh, well, I have to do this to be faithful, or if I don't do this, then God is not going to listen to me, or whatever. I just feel like if we develop a relationship with God and understand what being faithfulness means, then I think that we can get really far. And getting far doesn't always mean I'm going to get everything that I want, because I don't think, I personally don't think that that's true. I just feel like getting far is getting further than you were yesterday or further than you were 10 minutes ago. And I truly believe that being faithful is what will get you far. So walking by faith means a lot to me, and walking by faith is literally my life.
I love it. And I wanted to tie this entire thing up with a entrepreneurial Bible verse. And the scriptures that came to mind were 1 Corinthians 9:26-27, where it says, I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No sloppy living for me. I'm staying alert and in top condition. I'm not going to get caught napping and telling everyone else all about it and then missing out myself. The second verse, or the second Bible scripture that I found, was Isaiah 40:29-31, where it says, He gives me strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, and they will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. I think both of those scriptures really speaks to not only physical fitness, but just going hard every day, making that bed when you first wake up, understanding that your mental mind and your mental capacity will only be as good as your body, and that we should continue to walk by faith. And I can't wait to be just to see where you go and like when you compete. But I think that this was such a great podcast. And if you got anything else for the people, if not, we can close it out.
I don't. I'm just thankful that you reached out to me in the midst of our insanely hectic and busy schedules, to even consider me to be someone featured in your podcast. I think that that's huge. I've been watching you post on Snapchat literally every day without fail. I know for the last 2 years, I'm pretty sure it's probably more than that, but I know for sure for the last 2 years, every day without fail, Walk by Faith on Snapchat. And so once I finally saw that you were coming out with a podcast, the Walk by Faith show was just like, man, like she has been literally faithful in something that started out small. And even now, like, I feel like this is huge. Like, I've been telling a lot of people about it, and I've shared it on Facebook just because I know that the reason behind it is humongous. And so I'm glad that you're doing something like this. So thank you for having me.
And thank you, Khadijah, for being a guest. And I know that there is so much more to come. But guys, be on the lookout for this podcast, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.